The No-Hit Survival Permadeath run for Fallout 4 is quickly becoming the most popular new challenge to attempt. The challenge itself has been around for years, but it's grown in popularity thanks to streamers like Vrexia and Jabo. So what is a no-hit survival permadeath challenge? The term no-hit survival permadeath refers to the idea of completing the game on the hardest difficulty without getting hit by any enemies or taking any source of damage whatsoever. If a player does take any damage, the run is failed and must be immediately restarted from the beginning of the game. Damage can come from a number of sources, including, but not limited to, getting shot by enemies, taking over encumbrance damage, getting an infection, drowning, physics damage from running into loose items like junk on the ground or destroyed cars, and of course, vertibirds randomly falling on your head. You might be wondering, but what about radiation? It's important to note that radiation is not damage, but instead an overall HP debuff. It's also impossible to complete Fallout 4 without taking any radiation. I would like to clarify though that passive radiation or radiation poisoning is not the same as direct damage caused by radiation weapons like those used by the Children of Adam, the latter being considered actual damage. Originally, when attempting this challenge, players would need to keep an eye on their hit points to make sure they weren't getting hit. But challenge run completer Vrexia created his own no-hit mod that is now currently used by almost everyone who attempts these challenges. The mod itself increases the damage received from all sources by 90,001%. This means that regardless of your level, gear, or perks, your character will immediately die upon receiving damage. So, when you're playing, it's undeniable when you get hit, as your character instantly falls over dead. An incredibly useful mod that also creates some comical deaths, like dying in your chair while answering Nick's questions because you were just gifted a trench coat and hat that put you over your weight limit.
We're looking for my son, Sean.
Good question. Why you're...
It's also worth noting the difference between no-hit and no-hit permadeath. A no-hit permadeath is when you restart from the very beginning of the game upon taking damage, whereas a no-hit run is simply reloading from your last save point. Therefore, in my honest opinion, a no-hit run isn't actually a challenge at all, as saving completely trivializes the run. But with that being said, I think a simple no-hit run is a great way to practice. When attempting a no-hit permadeath, there are multiple locations that are incredibly risky, and it's very easy to run into bottlenecks that can take a number of hours to get back to. So while a no-hit run has its merits, I wouldn't categorize it as a challenge run, but rather a practice run. As for my own personal challenge run, I've been doing no-hit survival permadeath runs for over 2 years now, starting back in April of 2020. I'll make a separate video explaining my personal character build as well as some strategies I've learned along the way. But because this challenge has been completed before by multiple people, I've added a couple of extra rules to change things up, as well as make things more difficult. The first rule being no VATS. To be clear, VATS is dangerous to use when attacking enemies in a no-hit run. There can be a big delay between your shots, and sometimes your character gets stuck in place, allowing enemies to easily pick you off during the VATS animation. But if you just use it for VATS scanning, which is spamming the VATS button to locate nearby enemies, it's incredibly overpowered, which is why I've implemented the no VATS rule. The second rule is that I have to be intoxicated in real life while completing the challenge, which substantially slows my reaction time. This means I need to consume a number of my favorite beers prior to attempting the run. I also have what's called a BP meter, meaning beer points, so at a glance you can tell how many I've had so far. And lastly, to beat the game, I need to complete it by siding with the Institute. The reason being is because of the mission Airship Down. This is arguably the toughest ending to do with the no-hit mod installed, as the number of Brotherhood of Steel equipped with power armor can prove to be a massive challenge. At the time of recording this, I'm currently on attempt number 211, and so far my personal best is halfway through the final mission, just after starting to hack Liberty Prime. However, I've completed just this mission on its own without getting hit, so I have the right strats and I intend to finish the challenge this year. You can watch me attempt this run live on Twitch Monday through Thursday at about 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that's basically the gist of it. I'll be following this up with a strategy and character build video in case you're interested in attempting this challenge yourself. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more Fallout content. I'm Chris the Key. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
The key. Weird.